Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I recently got into running and started running gradually at a slow pace every day, and I decided to get a runner's focused watch. I've always had Galaxy watch. This is about 6 years old. It has held up really well, but it doesn't have a whole lot of metrics for running and so forth. So I decided to get a more focused watch, and I got the Garmin Forerunner 965. And this is a huge step up from my Galaxy watch. And I love this watch. There's a big colorful display. The battery life is great. It easily goes, about 10 days with one single charge. So I absolutely love the watch. Now, one thing that always bothered me a little bit about the watch was the glass is raised a little bit over the bezel around. And so I would actually knock it here and there. It's Gorilla Glass and not Sapphire glass, so it's not scratch proof, okay? And one of my friends who had the same watch managed to get it scratched in about 2 weeks. And then at the same time, the Epix Sapphire, not the Pro, went on sale for the same price as the Forerunner, so both were $599. And I was thinking, you know what, maybe I should get that watch because it's one higher level up in the Garmin series, and it comes with a sapphire display, and the bezel is raised like my previous Samsung watch, and I've had this for 6 years and I have never managed to scratch the screen. So the bezel, which is raised, above the glass, is probably protected. So that's exactly what I did. I went and bought the Garmin Sapphire, not the Sapphire, sorry, the Garmin Epix Gen 2 with the sapphire glass. Okay. So, and I've been using this for about 2 weeks, and at the end of 2 weeks, I decided to return it and keep my Forerunner, and I'll explain to you why. So, initially I thought I would like the Epix more for the looks because it had a more traditional look. But when I see it in person, I actually prefer the Forerunner. It has a more of a modern and futuristic look, whereas the Epix has a more traditional look with the bezel. So it's a personal preference. Personally, I like the look of the Forerunner more. The other thing is both of these are 47 size watches. But the display on the Forerunner is slightly bigger. It's 1.4 inch versus 1.3, and that makes a big difference. So the Forerunner is more readable. I just like it better on day-to-day use. The other thing is that for some reason, even on the same brightness setting, so I have both at the lowest brightness setting, for some reason I find the Forerunner to be a little more readable. It may be just me, it could be the sapphire glass on the Epix. But for instance, when you're outside, even at the dimmest display, I think it brightens up a little bit so you can see it. I just find the Forerunner to be a little more readable. The other thing is the weight. The Forerunner is about 20 grams lighter than the Epix. When you wear it back to back, it doesn't feel like much of a difference. In fact, the Epix, I could wear it all day and all night and not notice much of a difference. But when you wear it day in and day out, even that slight difference in weight becomes a little noticeable. And the Epix is also a higher profile watch, so it tends to be caught a little more on coat jackets, and when you're sleeping, it tends to be caught in your blankets a little more. So I just find it easier to wear the Forerunner compared to the Epix. The other thing, when I'm wearing both watches separately, one thing I notice that when I have it, I don't have the always on display. I have it on the, rise to wake feature. When you look at the watch, it comes on. When I use the watches separately, I get the sense that the Forerunner comes on a little sooner. I can see as soon as I look at it, the screen is there. So there's no blank screen. Whereas on the Epix, it seems as though when I'm looking at it, the blank screen is there for a millisecond longer than it is on the Forerunner. The differences are very minute, but I think this comes on maybe a touch quicker. The few millisecond difference really makes a big difference in how you feel when you look at it. Yeah, the time is there. Whereas on this one, it feels like you gotta wait a touch longer. Okay, but I've tried looking at it side by side. It seems to come on at the same instant. Again, this may be a millisecond quicker. This is the Epix, so as you can see, for some reason it doesn't stay as flat as a Forerunner on my wrist. So when I turn to look at the watch face, it seems like it takes a little longer for me to see the screen because the watch is tilted in that direction a little more. Okay, it's tilted that way. So I have to make more of a wrist turn to see the watch face. And then I think there's a tiny bit, a few milliseconds lag before the screen comes on. So here's the Forerunner. It stays flatter on my wrist, and so which means I have to turn it less to see the screen, and I feel like the screen comes on a few milliseconds earlier than the Epix. And it feels like I have to make less of a wrist turn to see the whole watch. It may be because of the bigger screen, it may be because of the lower profile, so it can lay flatter on my wrist. So these are minor things, but make a big difference in how you enjoy the watch every day. And also the screen is big enough for you to glance at it when running. And the other thing is the user interface. The functions and the user interface is mostly similar, but there are very few slight differences. For instance, on the Forerunner, when you wake up in the morning, it'll ask you, "Are you ready for the morning report?" Whereas on the Forerunner, on the Epix, you have to scroll down to see your morning report. These are minor changes, but I kind of like the way it's implemented in the Forerunner a little more. The other thing which is minor is that the watch strap itself feels a little more premier on the Forerunner, surprisingly. So there are these little grooves on it, and the inside of the watch is gray, so you can see the gray part through these holes here, whereas the Epix, it's all black, and obviously the straps are interchangeable, so that may not be much of an issue. The strap on the Forerunner is not a quick release, but you can replace it with a quick release strap, whereas the one on the Epix comes with a quick release strap. When you buy these two watches, the unboxing experience is slightly more premium on the Epix than on the Forerunner. This is a very, basic cardboard cover. This is a little more substantial. It goes up like that. There's a few more foam bits in between, inside. These are minor things, but once you open it, you discard the box, so I don't think it matters as much. Oh, the other thing is the Forerunner comes with a USB-C cable at the charging end. The other end is a traditional Garmin connector, whereas the older watch, the Epix comes with a USB, a regular USB at the end. In some ways that's better because you can find more ports to attach it to. So, I'm going to return the Epix and keep the Forerunner for all the reasons I mentioned earlier. It's just a slightly easier watch to live on a day-to-day basis. It's slightly lower profile, slightly lower weight, slightly better screen. The battery life is slightly better in mixed usage. And to allay my fears about getting the watch scratched, I've decided to put a screen protector on it. I've never even done it for my phone, so we'll see how that goes. But, these watches, I don't tend to interact with the screen a whole lot. I mostly just use the buttons, and I use the touch screen once in a while. So even if it decreases the touch sensitivity or the feel just a little bit, I'm not going to be too bothered about it. But reading the reviews on this screen protector, most of the reviews are good. It doesn't look like it's going to affect the screen feel much. As always, thank you for tuning in and thank you for watching this video. If you like what you see, I would urge that you subscribe to the channel so I can keep making these types of videos. I really don't have a whole lot of time, and I'm trying to squeeze as much time as I can to get something of interest like this to you guys. Thank you and have a great day.